funding for more classes is not there. I understand. The funding is just not there. I can wait to finish school after release, and I will. It has always been my plan and goal from the start, and I really appreciate the boost in the right direction. And the plan from the start was for me to be able to use my additional time wisely. And for that, I most certainly have. I am sending along a flyer I made. If you speak to Ms. Decker, I'm sure she will email you a copy from her computer if you think it will help you with your foundation. I've sent many of these flyers along with the letter I already sent to you in hopes of finding people willing to not only help my cause, but more so to recognize your mission and all you selflessly do to help all of us who are incarcerated to find a better life after release. Thank you again for everything. I hope and have faith the Lord will fulfill his promises to provide for all of our needs, and I know in his time he will. Sincerely, your friend and brother in Christ, Robert Miller. If I had to give an award, which is a good idea, to the two most outstanding returning citizens that I know in the last year, Dwayne Maloff and Robert Miller would certainly both be recipients of the award. But I think it's just absolutely wonderful that Robert, he actually did a flyer that he sends out to people. And it goes on, he says, education equals success equals freedom. As you can see, there is an observable direct connection between education and freedom. The more schooling a prisoner has while incarcerated, the less likely that he or she will ever see the inside of a prison again. Recently, prison education has been addressed by many people who can make a difference, from the President of the United States on down. Legislatures are now working on making it easier and more affordable for some incarcerated people who would like to learn to become more productive members of society. But it is not enough. We need to do more. One solution, Right Thinking Foundation with Steve Copeland. Then he's got bullets. Steve Copeland takes his nonprofit Right Thinking Foundation into prisons across the nation with seminars on budgeting and finance. He reaches out to prisoners with his message of hope for life as productive members in our communities after being released from incarceration. His motivational speeches and radio talk show have helped to bridge the gap between society and the stigma of prison today. And then he's got contact information, and he says, please contact Steve, and he got all my contact today to see in what ways you can help our incarcerated brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, family, and friends alike to be a success upon release. Together, we can make a difference. Let's reflect on what I just read to you. Robert Miller is inside prison, and he is making a difference. He is going to succeed and be a role model, just like Dwayne Maloff, for other people that are coming out of prison. So congratulations to the both of you. God bless both of you. I had two other returning citizens on the show last year, and their shows were incredible. Twan Nguyen and Will Dunbar. I encourage you to go back and listen to their shows. They both had spent a considerable amount of time in prison, and they are just so beautiful and successful. They're inspirational to all of us, and congratulations to both of them for being the wonderful persons that they are. And you should listen to their shows because they will inspire you. They're doing great things. I met two new people last year that did shows, two each, by the way. Wade Skowski, he's an advocate for doing expunging records of people that are coming out of prison so they can have a clean record, so they can get hired and have jobs. He's doing amazing things. He's introduced legislation in both California and Virginia to help change laws as it relates to the victims of sex trafficking or human trafficking. The shows are powerful. Atiba Gaines, she is an amazing person, and she's starting her own foundation, and she's making a difference. And she's focusing on 14 to 24-year-old Black youth that are disadvantaged in the communities, that she's said some things that are absolutely correct. Some of them are wonderful people, but they just are out there trying to survive, and they've dropped out of school, and they just want to help support their mother who's having a hard time. I mean, they are good people, and she's trying to teach them how to take their street skills and apply them into entrepreneurship through a program that she started called Truth Entrepreneurship Club. And it is a wonderful club. And so I'm going to be working with both of them in the coming year. And we had 6 or 7 just incredibly beautiful motivational people. Included in them on shows was my wife, Donna. She's so wonderful. Her message is so pure. Dave Richards, he's been with me since the beginning. He's got great messages. Don Green of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. What a man Don Green is. You've got to go listen to Don Green. Lefford Fate, who is one of my closest friends, and he's just done great things. His daughter-in-law, his daughter-in-love, as he calls her, and she calls him her father-in-love, Michaela. She did 4 shows in a row that if they don't move you to inspire you to understand what those proverbs that give you all that wisdom, it's all right there in those proverbs. And so listen to Michaela. It'll lead you right back into those proverbs, and you'll change your life. And Randy Faulkner. Randy is amazing. He is my aloha friend, and he just cares about everybody. And he is he's just beautiful. And Randy, I love you. Thanks for sharing all that music with me that you've been sharing, and God bless you. And so I just want to say that last year was an incredible year. We're moving into new territory. And I think the biggest thing that I'm moving into is I've accepted that this is the life of a missionary, and that I'm going to keep doing it because it's right. And so I'm okay with that. And so I'm going to keep doing it. I had shows where we taught a lot of valuable skills, how to get a bank loan, how to restore your credit, things like that from some wonderful people. Don Price, my board member and my close friend for 41 years. Don Green did one of those episodes. Jim Stovall. I want to thank Jim Stovall for teaching me how to eliminate distractions. I'm still working on it, Jim. I got a long way to go, but you've really taught me so much in the last couple of years, and I appreciate everything that you do. And Lefford did some of those shows also where he gave skills, and Richard Wilcox taught about how to use a bank account properly. And so I want to say that I visited Oregon twice last year, Powder River Correctional Facility. I visited Northeast Correctional Center twice in Mountain City, Tennessee. I've read that beautiful letter that I got from Darius James, who thanked me for just being there and coming to visit and inspiring him. And I went back to Indian Creek Correctional here in Chesapeake near Norfolk. And all in all, it was just a wonderful year for Right Thinking and for the radio show. I want to give you 2 real quick little outlines here about what I think that it takes to succeed and to stay focused. First of all, you've got to read, you've got to study, you've got to use your time wisely. You've got to want to change, and I think that's so critical. But one of the things that I want to share with you is this is like a little outline that I'm going to give you, and hey, rightthink.org, contact me, start a relationship with me. I'm available. You've got to persevere. You've got to keep moving forward. You got to have the will, like Napoleon Hill said. You got to know your burning desire and never quit. But you have to accept the reality of your life. Hey, I got a lot of stuff going on. It's no secret. Y'all know about my couple cancers and different things, etc. But that's the past. I'm here today and I'm moving forward. I'm not going to quit. You have to move forward. You have to make up your mind that you want to move forward. You have to forgive yourself for things that you might have done. And you got to decide what kind of life that you really desire. And so you've got to move toward that. So here's I think 7 points to sum that up. 1, know your purpose. 2, decide to go after it. Decide, make that decision. 3, be willing to put in the hard work. 4, develop a workable plan. 5, start. 6, modify your plan when necessary. 7, stay focused. And as you move forward, just remember this. You're human. It's hard. You're going to be down. You're going to have some bad days, but just be patient with yourself. Don't kick yourself too hard. I want to share a paragraph out of one of the most meaningful books of my life. It's Napoleon Hill's book, co-written, annotated by Sharon Lecter. I met her through Don Green, the Napoleon Hill Foundation. She's one of the foremost financial literacy experts in the country. This is a phrase from the book. It's about drifting. And this is in the book, Outwitting the Devil. Oh, it's amazing about human nature. It's a mock interview between Napoleon Hill and the devil. And Napoleon Hill is asking this question: describe all the ways in which you induce people to drift. Define the word and tell us exactly what you mean by it. I can best define the word drift by saying that people who think for themselves never drift, while those who do little or no thinking for themselves are drifters. A drifter is one who permits himself to be influenced and controlled by circumstances outside of his own mind. He would rather let me, that's the devil, occupy his mind and do his thinking than go to the trouble of thinking for himself. A drifter is one who accepts whatever life throws in his way without making a protest or putting up a fight. He doesn't know what he wants from life and spends all of his time getting just that. A drifter has lots of opinions, but they are not his own. Most of them are supplied by me. A drifter is one who is too lazy mentally to use his own brain. That is the reason I can take control of people's thinking and plant my own ideas in their minds. In this book, Napoleon Hill says that 98% of the people are controlled by the devil. That's just the way the book goes. But that only 2% know how to use their own minds. Those are the truly successful people. I'm going to bring the show to a close now, but I want to give you one opportunity. If you like to know more about this, contact me through Right Thinking. But I told you that it's really not about money. My program is trying to help people find their purpose in life and then move toward it. And I've got part of my curriculum is what I call topic papers. And the first one is the topic budget, cash flow, loans, and credit cards. And I get into financial terms here just to let people know that there's a lot you can learn that you probably don't know. But then I get right back into the next topic, success and goals. What is your definition of success? What are 3 goals in your life? And then the next topic paper, I get into a good and better life. And I help you define what would a good life be and what can you do to have a better life. And then I get back toward leaning toward the financial things. The next topic paper is called Financial Stability and Savings. What is financial stability? What is savings? Why is it good to have savings? And then I teach the whole thing. It's keeping track of your spending. And I say the objective of this exercise is to make a complete list of all the things that you've spent money on over the past month, and then total the list. Begin by first making a list of all the categories that you spent your money on, and then trying to list everything that you spent money on within each category. Use a separate piece of paper to outline the details and then provide answers in the spaces below. What are the categories that you spent your money on? What was the total that you spent on everything? What was the category that you spent the most money on? And how much did you spend? Are you comfortable that your list is complete? What are you having difficulty remembering? Did you learn anything about your spending habits that surprised you? When you start getting in this kind of stuff, you start becoming receptive to make changes, and you realize that you're wasting a lot of money. The last one is budgeting. Why is it important to write down your budget? How can budgeting help you reach your goals? Explain how the substitution principle of money handling and priorities work together. What is the difference in doing a monthly budget using totals for the month and doing a weekly budget using cumulative balances? Why is doing a cash flow weekly budget a better way to budget than a monthly budget? A lot of these are terms that you might not understand, but follow up with me. I'm offering. And I want to end the show with just a couple things really quick right now. And that is, about 5 years ago, I taught at a charter school for at-risk youth. And we went through this program with those kind of questions and making them focus on what they want. And I'll never forget this. This is why I do what I do. It's the right thing to do. I asked, what is your goal? What are your goals in life? And one 14-year-old said, to have less violence in my home. Let's let that one sink in for a minute. A 14-year-old in an at-risk high school said their goal in life was to have less violence in their home, in that person's home. There's a need out there. I invite each one of you to contact me, work with Right Thinking to see what we can do to make the world a better place. And I'd like to say right now that, again, thank you for being part of Right Thinking Foundation with your support, with your encouragement. and call me to see how you can get involved this year. Well, I want everyone to have the most healthy, prosperous,